Evelyn to Philip, November 15th, 1942. Sweetheart mine, I'm so lonesome and heartsick for you. My heart feels like lead and it's weighing me down. I wish with all my heart that you could take me in your arms and kiss away the tears that persist in falling. I can't seem to help flowing over every time I sit down to write. The fact that I may not see you till I give birth hurts more than I expected it would. As time slowly drags by, I seem to live only for the moment when I'll hear your sweet voice or receive that anxiously awaited letter. Or perhaps, and I know it's so much to page 2, hope for, see you personally. Otherwise, I always am in the dumps. I've kept myself occupied with one thing or another, but I keep wishing constantly that you were here. It was so good to hear you last night. I felt like crawling through the mouthpiece so I could get closer to you. Please, baby, don't scold me for feeling this way. I feel lost without you. Mrs. Firmer was thrilled to receive a bouquet. It was small but nice, and a card. Her children forgot about it. She called them to tell them about the flowers. She made a mistake about the year. It's her 48th, not her 49th. Flora's beau received, page 3, his notice to appear for his first physical this Wednesday. They are having their shower this evening. It's very cold again today, but the sun is bright and warm. I've finished 43 squares and I'm working on the extras. I've got quite a pile of them. How to arrange them and what to do with them is still a problem. I'll let you take care of that. As long as they are made up, the hardest work is finished. My mom thinks the carriage is beautiful. If and when I get it into shape, it will really be very nice. I tried to have the handle of the waffle iron repaired. It's slightly crooked and annoys me, but it can't be done. Page 4. Rather than send it back and go to a lot of trouble and expense, I've decided to let it stay as it is. Next time you come in, remind me to make those waffles I promised you. I hope, dearest, that you have written to Nick, thanking him for the gift. Both my mom and I have told him that you wanted to thank him personally, and he will receive a letter shortly. He's a funny guy and can't understand why you haven't written. Take care of it, will you, sweet? He has also promised to get a few small things for the baby, and it is nice of him to be so thoughtful about us. I'm glad to hear you made a few, page 5, extra dollars. There are so many things I'd like to buy, but hesitate at the present, feeling that you may need the money, or perhaps the hospital bill will be higher than I anticipate. If it's a boy, it might be, you know, and I didn't think of it before now. It will be $15 extra. Isn't that what the doc said for circumcision? Is that how it's spelled? My mom keeps urging me to go shopping, but I have no appetite for it. I can't seem to get started. I hate to go without you. All the joy will be missing. I hate to trek about from store to store in my present condition. Once the baby is here, it will be easier for, page 6, me to do as I please or go where I want to go. I've been taking it easy these past few days. Although I've been restless and pounded on, I feel fairly good. I called about the crib and it will be delivered sometime this week, maybe late tonight. I'll let you know as soon as it arrives. Incidentally, sweet, our baby also has a playpen. Mrs. Cooper, next door to my mom, gave it to me. It's not brand new, but it is in good condition. It's sturdy and needs a cleaning, which I'll get around to when I actually need it. Myra came over about 6 o'clock Saturday night and slept over. Eddie and my dad also slept over. Remember Myra, page 7, told us about a fellow who eats hot dogs with whipped cream? Well, he came over to take her out, and is he sensitive about it. He lives on the 4700 block of 7th Street and knows the other Phil well. His name is Seymour P. Fox, but they call him Sycamore. He's a pharmacist, and it was interesting to talk with him. I went to bed about 10:30, and he and Myra went out. I spent the day serving, reading the paper, and taking it easy. Time goes so slowly. It's almost 8 now, and I'm glad this weekend is over. I'm supposed to see the doc again this week. I hope I haven't gained much weight, or I'll get hell. Our penny, page 8, box seems to have gotten stuck at $6.10, and since Ruthie has been asking me to convert it into war stamps, she buys them at school and her class receives credit for it, I'm going to give her 25 pennies from the box each day for a stamp. The bank will remain as is and is almost full. I intend to save pennies as before, filling and refilling the bank. Okay? As the hour approaches 9, take me in your arms and hold me tightly, will you, honey? I thank God for those 2 strong arms that hold me so close to you. Baby mine, I love you dearly. Devotedly, your Evie. P.S. Next time you call, sweet, tell the operator to notify us when the minutes are up. I could talk all night. Philip to Evelyn, Sunday, November 15th, 11:05 a.m. Sweetheart, just received your missive of Friday the 13th. It's a pity you couldn't go to New York with the rest of the family. The knowledge that you're alone much of the time makes me uneasy, but I can appreciate your preference for solitude at this time. I much prefer it myself, although it's a little short of impossible to attain such a state with something like 70 soldiers constantly in attendance. That is why I like to go to town as I did yesterday. As you once said, my discerning Chippy, the feeling of solitude to be found in a strange crowd is paradoxically almost complete. Therefore, being alone this time, I was able to indulge in a few hours of introspection, which I took in a solitary bus trip, a solitary movie, and a solitary meal. And I came to the conclusion that I enjoy myself by myself better than if I had a few companions to distract my thoughts with aimless chatter. Thus, after theoretically being all alone through the greater part of the day, I decided to call the one person in the world whose beloved voice would be a welcome intrusion on my self-imposed spiritual exile. When I did hear your well-remembered voice, I thrilled to it as I would on perceiving a sunbeam in a dark and forsaken cathedral. This may sound exaggerated and, page 2, affected to an outsider sweet, but I wouldn't dream of putting it on paper if I didn't know that you know of the unpredictable, and I'll admit sometimes senseless pictures that I see with my eyes wide open and focused on commonplace, everyday contemporary scenes and events. I'm afraid I'm confusing you, but I'll make it clear. Remember that morning in bed, on the occasion of my last visit home, when I told you all the crazy non-related visions that came to me one after the other? If you do remember, you'll have no trouble at all believing me when I tell you that the instant I heard your voice yesterday, I saw plainly, as if someone held an oil painting before my view, a great cathedral with all the 1001 intricacies of the altar, the stained glass windows, the carvings on the wooden walls, etc. All this minuteness of detail, which I am at a loss to understand or explain, is registered on my brain and comprehended for one all-revealing instant. High up in the left-hand corner of the cathedral, through a windowless opening, shone a ray of the purest sunlight, stabbing through the all-pervading gloom, like the truth in a sea of doubt. All this, baby mine, was revealed to me with your first word. The only reason I didn't draw the picture for you then was that I hated to plant even a suspicion in your mind that your husband was drunk. Everything I could possibly say about life in camp here could be summed up in a few, page 3, simple sentences. It is uninteresting, unexciting, at times aggravating. The food is neither good nor bad by Army standards. The routine is not hard to take, nor is it easy. The fellows are pretty average, some good, some bad, some indifferent. This covers just about everything I can think of. If there's any particular item you are curious about, dear, ask me. I have no way of knowing what you're wondering about unless you do. I'm enclosing a $10 bill, honey. I hope it sees you through for a little while. This leaves me just $13, which I hope to stretch till payday. Just be patient, Angel, and everything will take care of itself in due course. Steel yourself to waiting. Don't let trifles mean more to you than they rate. Time has a way of bringing events to you, so don't exert yourself to the extent of reaching out in order to drag them closer to you. Just sit quietly and let time pass you by, and all the things you want to happen will happen. Never fear. Au revoir for now, honey, and until I talk to you again, keep in mind the admonitions of your adoring husband, Phil. P.S. I think you'll understand why this one is just for you, sweet. Put it away as soon as you have read it. Regards and love to all. Ruth Powler, Evelyn's sister to Philip, 11/14/42, 9 o'clock. Dear Phil, how are you? I just sat down and wrote this letter right after you called on the phone. It was so good to hear your voice again. At exactly 8 p.m., while Myra and Evelyn were in the kitchen, I sat down near the phone and just waited for it to ring. At 8:05, Evelyn said that she didn't think you would call, so I left the phone with a disappointed look on my page 2 face, but I still thought you would call. Evelyn, Myra, and I went into the living room and sat down. Myra said she wished something would happen, and right after that, who should call but little Phil? We all made a dash to the phone, and maybe Evelyn wasn't glad to hear your voice, since we were all bored to death this evening. There isn't much news, page 3, to write about because Evelyn never leaves anything for me to write about. Did you hear from any of the boys? We all send our regards and hope to see you soon. Love, Ruth. P.S. Please write to me a card or else drop me a line. A card is more preferable. P.S.S. Don't mind the fancy, page 4, underlining and writing, but I was in a good mood. Sid Brown, Phil's cousin, November 14th. Hi, Phil. Today I received a letter from Milton, my mother and father, and from you. I am writing to your Mead address, and wherever you have been transferred to, I know you will get it. It is a tough break for you to be recalled at this time, but the way things look, we might all be home for Christmas next year. I hope neither you nor Milt has to come across, and that just the ones here will finish the job. Keep the old chin up, and I hope you get into a good outfit. I have moved into the Egyptian desert, and soon shall start a checkerboard game, hopping from one famous name to another. I am seeing a lot of stuff. Being in the Air Corps, we miss all frontline stuff, so far we have been comparatively safe in our Air Force as our Air Force overwhelms theirs. The 8th Army has raced past Tobruk and is going towards Benghazi and then to Tripoli, while the other North African pincer is racing into Tunisia and try to junction with the Eighth Army and thus pinch the enemy to surrender. If the French fleet comes with us, the Mediterranean will be our sea, and no enemy convoy will dare sail towards Libya. The Italians look as if they are going to be knocked out of the picture. If and we shall win here quickly, watch German morale buckle, and then the slashing of the Allies will begin. And then all the resulting of the occupied countries shall also begin. And before the end of 1943, we shall be home. Germany has power here in the desert Germany has proven here in the desert that once again she can give the blitz, but can't take the blitz. Page 2. We are all overjoyed about present events to date. I am well and as happy as can be expected. I'll keep in touch with you. My address is still the same. All my regards home. Love, Sid. This is Milt's address, Private Milton S. Brown, Company C, 167th Infantry, APO 31, Camp Shelby, Mississippi. Postcard from Harry Weinman, Phil's cousin, November 15th, 1942. Dear folks, how are you all? I haven't heard from any of you for quite a while. I guess everything is okay. I really had a tough week, working about 14 hours a day, going out on night problems, and firing on the range. I made a fair score. The night problems are, they give you a compass with so many degrees you have to take. I just follow the crowd and get back okay. We haven't made any jumps yet, but I guess I'm in no hurry. Lousy pen. Like everything else in Columbus. I sure do hate this town. Jackie Nierenberg, thanks for helping fill the allotment. Ev, how are you coming along? Have you seen Phil lately? I guess I won't be home for Christmas. I didn't get a furlough. I wasn't one of lucky 54 men who did. It was all done with a hat. That's how they were picked. They're closing this joint up now, Service Club, so I'll sign off. Regards to all. Can't make out the signature.